Hi, this is Frank from Walking for Health and Fitness, and this is show number 13 that I'm doing here on YouTube. My goal is to do 52 consecutive weeks, so we have 13 down, 39 to go. In today's weekly walking tips and inspiration, let's call this the Self-Care Habits for Walkers show. And the topics in this show are, we'll have our first inspirational quote by Roy T. Bennett. We'll have walking tip number 1, and this is a big one, and this is self-care for walkers, and that's how to connect with yourself. We will have the get out the door story. I'll tell you about my experience with getting out the door. Recipes by Stacey, eating right. We'll have a great recipe by Stacey. Today's background image, today's background image is my image, but we finally have an image from a viewer who sent me an image of where she walks. So I will put that up on the screen here. Walking tip number 2 is, again, self-care for walkers, and that's connecting with the world around you. Okay, so tip 1 is really more of the internal. Tip 2, internal, but with the external component. Then we'll have 2 bonus tips. So this is a big show as far as self-care, and it's creating joy and satisfaction in your life. And the second self-care tip is about walking meditation that you can do. So tied it all in, finally with the second inspirational quote, we're on with the show. It's a big show. There's a lot going to go on here. A lot of great information. So stay tuned. And inspirational quote number 1 is, accept yourself, love yourself, and keep moving forward. If you want to fly, you have to give up what weighs you down. And that's by Roy T. Bennett. Do you display an inspirational quote around your home or office? Please send it in. I'd love to display it on the screen. Share it here. If you would do that, that would be great. Thank you. And you do that, send it to me at frank@walkingforhealthandfitness.com. Also, in the show notes, as I say every week, the inspirational quotes and those images that I create right here, you could, they're part of the show notes. Print it out, cut it out, display it someplace. All right, walking tip number 1, and this is self-care habits for walkers, and this is to connect with yourself. Okay, now self-care, when you think of self-care, now what comes to mind when you hear that phrase? Is it to treat yourself to a manicure? Is it an evening out with friends at an expensive wine bar? Is it that new golf club that you just have to treat yourself to? Okay. Over time, self-care has been watered down to include activities that are more transactional, meaning cost money, than transformational. When you think of meditation, social connections, creating joy and satisfaction in our own lives. Self-care has been corrupted to mean a luxury. Now keep this in mind. Self-care is not optional. Nurturing yourself in a holistic way that is physically, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually is crucial to your well-being. So how do you start doing that, especially if you're strapped for time and you're running on empty? First step would be to rewrite your definition of self-care, and it's self-care is taking care of your present and your future. It means paying attention to the basics of good health. It's those everyday habits that keep your body and your mind in balance. It means getting quality sleep, eating nutritious foods, and exercising regularly. Now, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on that expensive treadmill that eventually just is an expensive clothes hanger, okay? I've heard so many people talk about that. Since this is a walking show, let's start with self-care begins with walking. Start with just a 15-minute brisk walk, okay? You have to start somewhere. Now, here are just some of the benefits of a 15-minute walk. Improve your mood, relieve back pain, shrink the size of your hips, lower your risk of blood clots in your legs, lower blood pressure and your risk of heart attack, strengthen your arms, strengthen your abdominal muscles, keep your knee joints healthy, strengthen your feet to reduce the load on the joints. I mean, that's just to name a few. There are so many. My blog post, which the link will be in the show notes, has benefits of a 15-minute walk. You can read more about that. Now, if you do a 15-minute walk in the morning and you do a 15-minute walk in the afternoon, you've really taken care of your physical needs for the day. You'll reap the rewards of those benefits that come with the short walk every day. Try changing your perspective on an exercise regimen. Now, don't think of exercise as a strict commitment that you must do to stay healthy. Now, if you reframe exercising for health and fitness in terms of a vital commitment to yourself, now you might find it easier to stick with the walking program or any other exercise program that you do. Then think about the internal pieces of your deeper self-care approach, the quieter, more complex work that you need to do to heal and protect your mental health. Do you need to cut back on alcohol or caffeine? Caffeine is the one that gets me. Do you need to untangle yourself from a toxic friendship or even a close personal relationship? Do you need to make that important doctor's appointment for your annual exam? Sometimes self-care isn't an escape. Sometimes it takes real guts, and I need to get on the ball with that. So self-care is also about compassion. Sometimes we need to treat ourselves with the same compassion that we give other people in our lives. You need to remind yourself daily that everything you need is inside you. So number 2, take responsibility for yourself. There's a famous song by Teddy Pendergrass, came out in 1977, and it's called You Can't Hide from Yourself. So everywhere you go, there you are. Okay? Do you see yourself as a friend or a foe? Responsibility is a need we all have, just like a need for food and oxygen. Taking responsibility for our thoughts and actions is how we nurture ourselves. Now, by accepting responsibility, you become an active participant in your life rather than a victim of circumstances. You'll feel more connected to others. You'll have a better sense of independence and dignity. You'll feel more satisfied with your new sense of control, and you'll become proactive in your life. Number 3 in self-care. Begin by picturing your ideal life a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. What's it going to look like? Personal development writer Brian Tracy uses the term idealization, in which you project forward into the future and create an ideal future image for yourself. As I said in the opening, self-care is taking care of your present and your future. Now, having a vision of what you want to achieve in life is necessary if you ever want to arrive somewhere. It's important to allow yourself to dream big, to set big intentions. Now, intentions are powerful. Take advantage of this free resource which is within you. You just have to tell yourself what you want. You don't have to know how you're going to accomplish what you want to do. Just make a decision on what you want. Now, here's what happens when you put out the intention of what you want in your life. It's like using Google Maps when you're driving in your car, okay? You type in your destination, then that Google voice comes over your speakers, right? And it tells you what turns to make. It gives you warnings about the traffic ahead, detours ahead, the occasional accident, how to go around it. It gives you a heads up, a quarter mile from your turn, turn right at Central Boulevard. It directs you. You set the intention of where you wanted to go. You trusted Google to get you there, right? In the end, it guides you to your ultimate destination. Now remember, when you started the trip, you couldn't see the destination. You trusted the Google Maps to get you there. Well, your intentions are the same thing. Now, the more times you do this, the more time you set intentions, you get to trust the process. By setting intentions, you're taking the first step. You set in motion a series of events that cause you to have the right attitude. Then the right people come into your life, the right skills, the right opportunities appear for you to make the necessary changes that allow you to arrive at your desired outcome. Now, for me, my ideal vision was to share my passion for walking. I had no plan how this was going to work. In fact, I spent 2 months, a few years ago, working on a project where every night I'd go home, take all the best walking information I found. I put it into PowerPoint slides. So there were different presentations about different features that I wanted to talk about. And I wanted to create a larger project from that and then sell that. So I got everything together, 28 different PowerPoint presentations. I sat down to record them. I recorded the first one and I couldn't stand doing that. It just was, walking is an active motion. I didn't want someone sitting through 28 chapters in front of a computer when they could be walking, right? I wanted to be out walking. So I realized if I hated doing this, man, people were going to not enjoy viewing it, buying it, getting anything out of it. Other than, it's great information, but, to sit down in front of a computer when you should be out walking. So 2 months of work. What was I doing with that? But I had all that knowledge now and that information. I wanted to share the knowledge. That was my intention. I started listening to online marketers, and all of them talked about developing credibility, which involved writing a book. I never wrote anything in my life. I'm a teacher, yes. I'm college papers, yes. I write tutorials for my students, and I did some occasional blog posts in the past, right? But I said, all right, this book, how am I going to do this? I'll have to, I guess, start with an outline. How do I do that? And then I realized, wait, I had 28 chapters, PowerPoint slides that really were an outline. That's where it started. So, I set the intention to share this, thought it was going to be PowerPoint slides. It turned out being 3 books that came from that initial intention. So that's how this whole process works. So over time, various events, trust me, when I was stuck, I got the right phone call. I spoke to the right person that helped me along in the process of writing the books, which now I have the website, I have the YouTube channel, I have the books I've written, I'm working on walking programs. So again, set intentions for yourself and let the magic happen. And number 4, capture your ideas and solutions. Now, capturing your ideas and the solutions in the moment is vital to your self-care process. Now, I have a video about 15 minutes, walking mindset and transformation. You can check that out. But in it, I talk about 2 transformations that come about in your life when you begin walking. One is the physical transformation, right? You just feel better from walking. Okay, there's so many benefits of that. My 15-minute benefits of a 15-minute walk go over that. The second transformation is your mindset. You'll begin to think more clearly. You'll be calmer. Your creativity and problem-solving skills just kick into overdrive. Think about this. You're out walking. There's so much time on your hands to do nothing but think. I mean, you could distract yourself with music. I mean, that's great. Sometimes I like listening to music, but a lot of times I like listening to the voice in my head, not voices. So try this before your next walk. Think of a problem you're having. For example, this is what I do. I open up my iPhone. In the Notes app, I just type in something that I'm working on, a problem I'm having, something I need a solution to. Then I do nothing. I just walk. I don't even think about this problem. I just take my walk, enjoy what's going on, listen to audiobook, or listen to music, whatever. But it's really amazing how often the solution to that question I had just appears. I might drift over to start thinking about it, and some way I'm like, why didn't I ever think of that idea before? That's what happens. That's what's so powerful about walking. Okay, walking is physically and emotionally powerful. So it's free. Take advantage of this. Fitness doesn't happen in a vacuum. Walking is much more than a physical exercise. I feel its greatest benefit in my life has been the mental aspects alone. The mental aspects, the emotional aspects that I get out of walking has helped me to be at my best. So on your next walk, take care of yourself. Take responsibility. Focus on what you want in your life by setting big intentions and capture those great thoughts and ideas someplace. Capture them on your phone. And getting out the door. Now, how many times have you begun your walk? Maybe you got a block from the house, maybe further, and then you realize that you forgot your water bottle. You forgot the sunscreen on that sunny, hot day, or you forgot your smartphone, whatever it is. This has happened to me one too many times. I planned out a long walk, like 10 miles long. Look forward to completing the audiobook I was listening to, right? Those will take hours, some of those books. And beautiful weather. I'm in a great mood. I get like a mile from my house. Let me start listening to the book. And I forgot the earbuds. Okay. Game plan down the drain. Get a little disappointed. I had to make other, let me think about something else here. Okay. So don't let this happen to you. When you become a subscriber to the Walking Health and Fitness website, I'll send you my get out the door routine, my get out the door checklist. This informational PDF will help you make your next walk your best walk. And then included with that is my quarterly newsletter, Walking Inspiration. Okay, so check that out at my website. Link is in the description below. So as I mentioned above, I like to listen to audiobooks when I walk. And many of them are hours long, but that's great. That's why I'm out there walking. But I've also begun now listening to an app called Blinkist, and it's a great concept. They've taken the key ideas of many of the best-selling and current nonfiction books and reduced them to what they call blinks. Books like Seven Habits of Highly Effective People are among the best-selling books that Blinkist has turned into these blinks. Each blink is between 15 to 20 minutes long. Okay, I'll listen to a blink. I'll reflect on what I just heard, take notes into my app, capture that great idea. If it's a long walk, I'll listen to a second blink. Okay, I recently listened to a blink called Reinvent Yourself by James Altucher. Now, the overview of this blink is that reinventing yourself is self-care. In fact, later on in the show, one of the ideas that I got from the book was to create joy and satisfaction in your life, and by doing things you love to do as a child. And an interesting story coming up about that. So if you want to check out Reinvent Yourself and any of the thousands of titles that Blinkist has, you could sign up for Blinkist 7-day free trial. Plus, you'll get 20% off should you choose to continue your membership. The link is in the description below. Try Blinkist. I think you'll like it a lot. Eating Right, and here's Recipes by Stacey, and this is pancakes_Stacey on Instagram. And today's recipe is radicchio and shaved fennel salad with oranges, mint, and feta. So Stacey says, we all enjoyed this salad so much. It has great flavors, and the greens are hearty, so they wear this dressing extremely well and have a lot of crunch and texture. So as always, Stacey's recipe, the complete recipe, is in the show notes. Download them below. Okay, and a big thank you to Mary Jo T, as she was the first viewer to send me an image of where she walks. This is a picture that she took on her favorite walk. It's at the Hudson River Waterfront Trail in Newburgh, New York. She wrote, it's my go-to place to get in my walk, and I enjoy the great scenery. So Newburgh is about 30 minutes from my house in North Jersey, so I'll be sure to check that out when the weather gets a little bit warmer. So do me a favor, send me a picture of where you walk. Make a connection with me. The show is about self-care connections. Connection with yourself, and later on you'll see connections with others. So you can email them to me at frank@walkingforhealthandfitness.com, or my Facebook group, Your First Walking Group. Check that out on Facebook. We share a lot of pictures there and stories and stuff like that. So check it out. And if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button below. Okay, subscribe, ring the bell, share, do all that great stuff. And walking tip number 2 is really self-care, part 2. And in part 1, I covered the connection with yourself, that you would do if you took a solitary walk. Now let's talk about your connection with others. Okay, you can increase happiness, have better health, and live longer by making meaningful connections with positive, loving people you care about and trust. Connect with others, your family, your friends, your neighbors. Walking and the endorphins and other good feel-good hormones kick in when you get out walking, okay? So you'll see this during your solo walks. Now share this great feeling with others. Connect to your community. In these times of stress, right? Feeling connected to a broader community reminds you that you're not alone. Join a group. There are many groups in your area. There are meetup groups. There are walking groups. Check out my blog post on mall walking. Okay, there are mall walking groups. When I did research for that, I didn't know that. It's really cool. There are health and fitness groups. Take a class, adult education, or a college course. Okay, those other groups. Facebook, as I mentioned, Your First Walking Group, and other virtual groups and clubs. Join them to share this common connection of walking with others. Okay, do a Google search on walking groups in your area. And here's bonus self-care tip number 1. Create joy and satisfaction in your life. Okay, laugh. Find things to laugh about. Find a funny TV show, movies, YouTube videos. I mean, it's endless the number of videos on YouTube, whether it's people doing crazy, stupid things or comedians that are on YouTube. Okay, podcasts, all of that stuff. Check that out on YouTube. Positive emotions decrease the stress hormones and build emotional strength. Okay, do leisure activities. What do you enjoy doing? Okay, nature breaks. Okay, get off the road and into the woods for a hike. Basically, hiking is walking with boots on. That's what I describe hiking as. Think about what you liked to do as a child. Now, I got this suggestion to talk about this from the blink that I talked about, Reinvent Yourself. So my guilty pleasure is playing a game called Sports Illustrated Baseball 1971 version. I got it when I was a kid. It's a dice game with these score sheets, and you play through a game. It takes about 20 minutes to play through a game. I've done it since I was a kid. It's a nice escape for me. I try to do a game once or twice a month. I mean, there are other people who just sit in front of the TV, play video games, computer games. Mine is an actual solitary board game, not even a board, just a dice game with some charts. It's a connection. It's a connection to baseball, which is a game I love, and it's a connection to a great childhood that I have. So find that thing you like to do as a child and do it. Don't feel embarrassed about it. I don't. And your second bonus self-care tip, and that's meditation. Now, I have a video, benefits of walking meditation, how to do a walking meditation, and let me read them to you right here, talk about it here, okay? So, meditation while walking is good practice for beginners and advanced practitioners alike. Mindful walking meditations just gets the blood circulating. You're out walking. The sitting meditation is great. We all know that if we've done it. But to get out and walk and get the blood moving takes it, I think, for myself to a next level for me. Practice in tandem with sitting meditation. Movement meditation provides additional insights. What I talked about early on about the ideas that come to me when I'm walking. It can easily be integrated into your schedule since walking is something most of us do every day. Walking meditation gives us an opportunity to feel the earth that sustains us and helps us develop gratitude. Walking meditation is that simple. So here's how to do a walking meditation, okay? Walking combined with mindful breathing, okay, in through your nose, out through your mouth, is by far the most practical and easy to implement method of a walking meditation, right? One of my previous shows, I talked about breathing, the importance of that. So check that out. It has the added benefit of providing exercise for the mind and body at the same time. Now, begin by moving slowly to find that rhythm in your movement and breathing. After you hit that sweet spot where movement and breath get into sync, you can move at any pace you want and walk for as long as you like. As you begin walking, deliberately put your mind down into your footfall, okay? Meaning where your feet strike the ground. Switch on your senses. Stay connected to the other physicality of your legs and your feet. Expand your awareness to notice your surroundings, the sights, the sounds, the smells. Practice the 4-3 breathing pattern, which is inhale for 4, exhale for 3. Any odd number will work, okay? Inhale for 6, exhale for 5. There we go, I got the numbers right. The goal is not to make it an effort, but to make it effortless and mindless. You're not thinking about it, so this way your mind can go someplace else. The goal is not to make it an effort, but to make it effortless and mindless, meaning that your mind is focused only on the activity itself and not the rest of your day, your problems, your work, your to-do list, okay? There is no need to do this for your whole walk. Set aside 10 minutes of, I'm only going to focus on the breathing, the walking, the surroundings. So on your next walk, dedicate time to a walking meditation. It's as easy as picking a spot of the road ahead and beginning. Just focus on your footfall, breathe easily, let your body move to its natural rhythm. With continued practice, you can easily slip into this in your future walking meditations and reap the full benefits of this mindfulness activity. Final thoughts on self-care. Okay, comes down to this. I learned this from my mom. If you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of other people? And if you don't take care of yourself, how can you allow other people to take care of you? Okay, it really comes down to that. And inspirational quote number 2, talk to yourself like you would talk to someone you love. And that's by Brené Brown. Okay, so if you have a walking, health, fitness question that you'd like answered, contact me at frankforwalkingforhealthandfitness.com. So here's your next step in the Self-Care Habits for Walkers show. Download the show notes. The inspirational quotes are there. Kind of the outline or sometimes the whole script of what I say is also on there. Okay. Send me pictures of where you post those inspirational quotes. I'd love to see them. Okay. Eating Right Recipes by Stacey. Try out her recipe that she has here. Today's background image. Actually, I didn't talk about today's background image. Oh, I'll talk about that next time. I got so engrossed in the show. Wow. Click the link to your 7-day trial of Blinkist, right? 7-day trial, free trial. Listen to these great blinks, 15 to 20 minutes with some really good nonfiction information for you, okay? This has been the Self-Care Show. Be kind to yourself, okay? Inspirational quote number 2, I talked about, talk to yourself like you would talk to someone you love. And lastly, remember the first inspirational quote, which is the most important. Accept yourself, love yourself, and keep moving forward. If you want to fly, you have to give up what weighs you down. That's by Roy T. Bennett. So this is Frank for Walking for Health and Fitness. Thank you for watching my show. Walk on.